it without champagne or rum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Good evening from the UK. Could be good afternoon where you are in the world. Alas, we're here together. Welcome, 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 everyone. So welcome to my new show. I say my new show, but it's not really my show. Coach David is a superstar because he's the one that is the expert on this show called Your Unfair Advantage. So we're here to talk about Coach David's books, primarily. Book number 3, I believe, Coach David, right? Book number 3. Yes. That is. Why am I going to tell you about it? He can tell you about his book himself, right? Well, essentially, we're going to launch the book and have a party after 4 events. You know what? If you know what I do, that's what we tend to do, right? This is our first pre-live event. So it's a chance for you to get to meet Coach David, get to know him, and get to like him, trust him, and want to support his book launch when the time comes. So it really is a case of, I guess, uncovering the genius of the man, because he is a genius, I assure you, and you might be blown away by the deep conversations that we're going to have in this room, starting today. And apart from supporting people like Coach David to launch their book, of course, I hope you write your book, publish your book, and sell your book. Again, like I mentioned, our launch event is geared towards making Coach David an international best-selling author. To do that, we'll need your help. So, do engage. Like I say, engage in the room, engage in the conversation, engage in the comments, and get to know Coach David. Of course, I would say, please meet with him, right? Meet. Oh no, Coach, what happened? Okay, have I got your LinkedIn? Haven't I? I think yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm streaming you to your LinkedIn. I don't know why it's saying it's lost access to your LinkedIn. Damn, annoying. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna have to just reconnect your LinkedIn very quickly.
All right, please go ahead.
To do that, I need to log out of my LinkedIn.
All right, go ahead, please.
And then log in as you.
All right.
How unpleasant when that happens last minute. But it's fine. In life, we always have to overcome, right? Have to overcome challenges as they arise. Right, so you're there. Let me see what happens. Password. It's the same.
Want me to send?
No need. I just need to find out my long list. When you do what I do, you have many people's accounts in your LinkedIn, so you have to get to yours. I don't really have got many people's accounts on my LinkedIn. It's what it is. So let me enter your name. No, that's not working. Okay. Thanks, LinkedIn. It's not in alphabetical order. Why not? Give me a second. I will find it. So it is there. You might have to put it in the WhatsApp so I can take it from there.
Okay.
But now I've said that, I will find it now. That's not. We'll get there eventually, as long as we get there. I don't care how we get there, frankly. I don't know if LinkedIn's trying to tell me he hasn't saved it. Annoying, but still, Yeah, I've gone to my. Okay, you put it a bit weird. So put it in normally. I can't take it from where you put it. You put it in in a subject or something like that. So I can't copy and paste, Coach David.
So how do
you got to put it in a message as the message? You put it as something else. I don't know what you put it as.
Oh.
You put it at the top, and I can't copy and paste from there.
Okay, let me do that again.
Hold on. All right. Okay, okay, I've got it now. I've got it from your previous message.
Okay.
Annoying, but yeah. Yeah. It is done. Reconnect your destination. Thanks, StreamYard and LinkedIn. How very annoying, both of you. But hell, that's life, right? No, we're reconnected again. So,
all right.
So I'll update password, and I should come out of your account, go back to my account, so I can carry on doing what I was doing. Right. Let's try again. So I've introduced you, Coach David. So tell them who you are. Tell them about your genius, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Excited and super excited to be in your room. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. My name is David, and I'm a life design coach. I also do work in spirituality. And, I've done loads of things at corporate experiences around telecommunications, information technology, engineering. Been here, done that for some years. Loads of interesting stuff. And recently I authored 3 books around the human spirit and around communing with the divine. And we are here to share some deep truths around becoming very indispensable at who you are and doing whatever you do as a person. Super awesome time, and I'm excited.
Have you waved the book? Have you shown us the book? Have you waved the book? You have to wave the book.
No, let me.
Let
me show the book. Can everyone see us? Let me just bring the book. It's right here.
I will make it easier for you if you want.
This is
I will make it easier. There you go. Oh no, your background is in the way.
Let me take off. Don't worry. Let me take off.
There you go. Okay, we can see the picture now.
All right, that's the book.
Excellent. It's a big book, right? It's a big book.
It's a big book, actually.
How many pages?
It's about 626 pages. About 626 pages.
626. My friends, I was talking about this earlier with Natalie. I don't want to publish books so big.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong, if anything goes wrong, you're kind of stuck with them. You're stuck working on that forever. That's the problem.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's that book.
Yes. So this particular book deals with the different areas of human endeavor and how your work with the divine can link you up to doing super amazing work. It's called Prophetic Ecosystems and Dynamics. It's a must read for everyone who really wants to be a superhero in the world of work or at what you do. It's something that will change and revolutionize your work as a person.
Indeed. And I say that is one of 3 books. We're only launching book 3 to start, and the other 2 they're half as big, right? The other 2 are equally big.
Yes. The other 2 are also very, very close by to me here. There is a Practical School of Prophecy for Modern Believers. That's that one, the Practical School of Prophecy for Modern Believers.
Did you have your blur in your background?
Yes. Let me remove the blur.
That's what's distorting us saying. So now we can see a bit better.
Let me remove the blur settings. We can't. Okay, I think you can see it now, right?
Keep you awake, Margaret. We'll bring you up in a minute.
Oh no, it's okay.
Can you see that now?
Yeah. I can see it much better. It's easier. Better to see, easier to see. So that's is that book one or book two?
That's book one.
Okay.
All right.
So what's that one called?
This is a practical school of prophecy for modern believers. If you're a Christian, but I believe God speaks to everyone, not believers alone. Everyone can hear God. Yeah.
Cool.
And then
Okay.
there is also prophetic ecosystems and dynamics. That's this one here. That's the sixth. That's the third book.
Okay.
This just deals with the fact that God wants to influence all areas of the human endeavor. I've covered about 20 something areas of human endeavor here, different kind of job roles and career paths, and how God can inspire us to do great work. The third one is slightly more spiritual, again for believers. That's you and your prophet, or you and your guide, or
Okay.
you and
So this one's book two. So we've seen book one, book three. This is book
yes,
two.
yeah, this book too. Uh, thank you. This is about you and your prophet. It's about you and your divine helper in terms of the prophetic, or anything that you do like that. Awesome,
Awesome.
super materials they are. Took me 30 years to start writing, and then the first three came together.
Mm. Yeah, well, clearly you've done well. I'm saying having such big books, just having a book at all, it's a testament to your hard work. So well done, you. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
well done you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Yeah, for whatever reason, my LinkedIn isn't streaming. I don't know why.
I don't know. It should be.
Okay.
It is. It is. Now I just reconnected it, so it's streaming.
Ah,
Refresh your screen.
okay. I just did that
Uh,
again. So it's click to join. Oof, it's not streaming. Okay. I guess because I can see. Can everyone see from my page? Just want to be sure that it's streaming from my page. Margaret,
I'm, now,
welcome.
I'm going to your LinkedIn now, so I'm going to the page now.
All right.
And then I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it was streaming because it was streaming before. I
Okay.
used to have an event, of course, Felipe, right? Okay, it says starting soon. Give me a few seconds.
All
A
right.
few, no, a few more refresh, and it should be all right.
Okay.
The event will start. The event host will start soon. We're going to host a stream. Okay. No, but I can see that now the tick is not there. So let's do go live on there. That's probably why. Okay. You're
Okay.
live. Refresh the screen now, my friend. You find that you're alive.
All right.
Yes. We are live. Our friends are here. Margaret's in the studio. Oh, why is it not the why? I still can't see it yet.
Yes, it's saying starting soon still.
But it does say you're live
Uh,
on my screen.
oh yeah, I'm live now.
Welcome
It's
to
live.
yeah, yeah. We're definitely live. So in Chui Akban, I see you, Dr. Amaka. Welcome, Michelle. I see you too. Aaron, I haven't seen you for a while. Glad you're here. Miss Aaron Mansele, I see you too. Welcome. Mrs. Zion, welcome. Henry, I see you. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Dr. Ukechi, I see you as well. Thank you for being here. So we have an audience, Coach
Yep.
David. So let's sing and dance for them. I'm not singing. No, I'll let you sing and dance. I'll leave it with you. Elliot, I see you as well. Welcome all of you. Brilliant. So, I'm glad you're here. And I said, now we can have a show because we can't have a show for ourselves. But now we know you're here. We can have a show with you for sure. So, Coach David, what's the idea behind the books?
Well, the idea behind the book is simple. Since the beginning of time, God the divine has always had desire to commune with man, especially put us on the planet to work and till the planet, to make the world a better place. That's the original intention. And we're created and fashioned to do this. But something happened to man and we lost a lot of things. We lost that heritage, we lost those capacities. And this book is is to reconnect us back to that divine essence. This particular series is to show us that the genius is possible, but it has to be beyond the realm of our natural abilities. When I say natural, I do not even mean anything spiritual yet. I just mean that majority of the systems on the earth today, the academic systems, cater to the development of the body and the mind. When it comes to the spirit of man, the knowledge of it is limited and deliberately kept so. But history is littered with all the wisdom of men who were able to transcend the general wisdom of the common populace, and they were able to utilize the faculties of their spirit to do super amazing work. And the possibilities are endless once you tune into your spirit as a person. And this is the real secret to having the unfair advantage, because there's nothing you do that nobody can copyright. There's no book you read somebody else cannot do it. There's nothing, no capacity developed that somebody else cannot develop. But when you reach the realm of your spirit, few people even get there at all. Few people even start the process of using their spirit or utilizing their spirit men at work. And the case studies are plenty. And anytime man does that, excellence always comes to the table at the level of being indispensable. So that's the idea behind the book, to help us develop these capabilities and grow deeper. This particular third book, that's why it's 600 and something pages, by the way. It deals with the use of our divine abilities across different sectors of the human. Michelle, thank you. Across different sectors of the human experience: creativity, governance, risk management, supply chain. How do you use your God-given innate capacities beyond your five senses in these domains of human influence? What are the models you can use? And my experience in the corporate world, running almost 30 years, has helped me to distill that understanding. And my understanding in the spirituals, merging these two together, has given me the competency and the leeway to actually bring these two worlds together.
Amazing work you've done there, my friend. And I say, anyone who writes a book, I'm always in awe of. And so for the size of books and for the topic that you're covering, I'm definitely, outstanding. And let's get the books to the world, Coach David. That's our goal, right? That's what we have to work on. That's what we have to work towards.
Absolutely. And I'm excited at bringing this third work, because it took me some time. It's a deep book. I had to be in reflective mode for hibernate, literally, be off radar, totally off radar, to begin to pen the thoughts. Very intense work. I couldn't come out of it for several weeks, almost actually about 3 months in itself, because I was spending down my 30 years experience, how I have used this across the different areas I've worked in, and how you can apply it to the systems of this world. It's a complex thing, but it's simple if you understand it. As one who has gone through the journey, is a map. Although the map is not the territory, you can have a very accurate map and still miss your way, because the map is not the territory. However, by following the map, you at least have understand. And if you have a guide or a coach who's been through the journey, it's easy for you to deploy your spiritual faculties at work. And that's the new area of human invention. That's the place for us to work. Everybody's saturated. Everybody maxed out. And anybody of research is 6 months old. Once 6 months is old. Once it's 6 months is old. For you to stay ahead of the knowledge economy, within the knowledge economy, and be competitive enough, you need an unfair edge. You need what you can deploy that is right from your spirit. And whatever is in the spirit is what eventually comes to the realm of imitation that people follow. So this is how to be the trailblazer. It's not a spiritual mumbo jumbo work. That's why it is very also intellectual and also practical. There's a little bit of academic part to it, which goes into the review of the environment in each of those industries and how people are failing because they are looking at the current amount of tools and techniques available within those industries, when the biggest one is the spirit that God has given us that we can deploy in those areas of human endeavor.
Interesting. Look, and I guess from learning about mindset, I guess I agree with you that the principles are very simple. No, they're simple. Essentially, they're 12 steps. In living an intentional life. Oh, my battery's down on my mouse, but literally, I think when we just need to learn those steps. And I didn't say it was going to be easy. I just said we need to learn those steps. Michelle, welcome. Michelle Ramos, glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Right. Of course, we're going to talk about how to be exceptional and be indispensable at work today. The link. So you're welcome to come on stage and share with us. And I say, Margaret's here. If you're on my YouTube, you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, then just please like today's video. If you're on Coach David's YouTube as well, like today's video, comment on today's video, and then subscribe to our channels. That's what you have to do. If you do that, then you help us in huge ways. We'll need to get towards our 1,000 connections, our 1,000 followers, and then also our 4,000 watch hours. So contribute, please, while you're there. Don't leave. Stay there. Anyway, I know that you probably have something prepared to tell us today, Coach David, right? I'm sure you do.
Yes, right? yes.
I'm gonna break your intentions.
Please go ahead.
I'd love to let our guests speak. I don't like to keep them too long.
Please go
I
on.
know Margaret. She's a genius, so I'd love to hear what she has to say, and then we'll come back to you.
All right.
And then you can respond to what she says, and then if you want to carry on after that, you can, however you want to do it, right?
Yeah, I love conversations. It's better to converse.
Let's do it then.
Yeah.
Margaret, welcome. Your first
Margaret,
time.
how are you? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for graciously inviting me. I was just expecting to listen to a totally different perspective than mine, but here we are.
You can go afterwards. And I tend to give out 2 links, Margaret. I tend to give out the link to the event, and then also the StreamYard link to those who I'm invited to speak. So you're one of those who got the studio link to come and speak. So I'd love to hear. Yeah, I feel that way. I really feel that way. Can share it with us. How do you get to be indispensable at work?
Well, I feel like people don't talk about the obstacles to that enough. Per example, gatekeeping. Because gatekeeping is in most industries because there's a great anecdote from an economics book that I read years back, but it really stuck with me because it's one of those timeless histories that just keeps echoing because that was a successful example. But basically, in ancient Egypt, there existed 2 main power structures, right? The pharaohs that receive all the publicity and all of the media hype, but the other less publicized one per se was the priesthood. And the pharaohs had to defer to the priesthood in a lot of ways and in many instances throughout the year because fundamentally the priesthood hoarded the tools and the knowledge to be able to tell whether or not a pharaoh's political regime would be successful or not. And so the whole concept that the flooding and behavior of the Nile River could be monitored and controlled, that knowledge was hoarded away from everyone else by the priesthood. And the priesthood held that knowledge away and hoarded it for thousands of years until finally the structures that the priests erected in secret were literally discovered in 1967.
Mm.
Literal thousands of years after that original priesthood structure had long since died off. And you know why? Because they built the Aswan Dam, which completely drained all of those structures that the Nile had hidden, because they were able to predict its behavior and form so well, because again, they hoarded that knowledge away from everybody else. And every industry, I think, that has had any longevity kind of, whether knowingly or unknowingly, followed that example and kept reiterating. And so you see this throughout the centuries. You know, the Freemasons are a great example of this, where they had very strict qualifications as to whether or not you could be a member. Membership passed along hereditary male lines for other centuries, right? And so the real question here in my mind is wondering, to become indispensable, everyone starts from zero. That's literally what starting means. And at that point, how is gatekeeping going to affect your chances of succeeding? You know, that I think is something that people don't talk about nearly enough. And I think for very obvious reasons, right? Because power is everything, I guess. Well, that's just my 2 cents, but I'm happy to chill and hear in the comments as I loom.
Margaret, it's so I feel so bad that I can't see your face. Thank you for that. You took my introduction right on the cue. So where I wanted to start from, you literally are starting from there. Thank you. I am clapping here, and I owe you a physical gift for this brilliant introduction. Now, you see, this current world that we live in is a being of history. And if you don't understand history, you become history very easily. What you're describing is the secret of most of the economies of the world. It's the same structure that runs in every economy. There are gates and there are gatekeepers. And the secret of this is in knowledge. And those are the two blocks, the pharaohs and the wise men of Egypt. Now, there's a third category who are also part of the wise men of Egypt, but there is a particular Bible verse that speaks about so that you will not perish with the wise men of Egypt or the wise men of Babylon. The same model was replicated in Babylon anyway, and many nations of the world, that is the process, whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in creativity, advertising, whether you're in branding, it is the same secret you have over and over and over and over again. And the gatekeepers are there to ensure that civilization and wisdom is kept at a certain level. If there is too much knowledge in town, this is what existential economists have said, and people have access to those levels of performance, what you're going to have is that there'll be a disbalance in the systems. And there's also the Pareto optimality principle that says that the amount of those who must hold trusts of the wealth and the power of the economies of the world must only be 80%, must be 20% max. At the best is 1%. In the United States, the graph of the rich and the poor cannot be done on the same graph. You've seen the graph before. The richest of Americans top 1%. Same in China, all over the world. The millionaires are 1%, 2%, 3%, 10%. 20% is the maximum. So 20% of the population of the world, that's what Pareto said, Alfredo Pareto, will own 80% of the wealth of the world. Now, that system is subsisted by gatekeepers. They keep it regimented like that. It's a system, and that's where it is. If you want to break in from the 80% of the people who only hold 20% of the wealth, 80% of all of us in the world hold 20% of the wealth. If you want to break even, then you must go in the direction of the wise men. You must actually be able to overcome the wisdom of the gatekeeper. This is the wisdom of this book. This is what this book seems to want to achieve across industries. You have to contact the realm of the original creation of man, your spirit man, the realm where secrets are held. In fact, there's a Bible verse I love. I'm a Christian, and my persuasion as a pastor, I don't want to say pastor, as a coach and someone who's a spiritual guide, is that there are hidden things. The Bible says, for he reveals deep and hidden things. So there are deep things and there are hidden things. There are 4 categories of persons in the world. Those that, in every career path, in every industry, those that don't have hidden things, they don't know secret things. That's category 1. No hidden thing, no secret things. Sorry, no deep thing, no secret thing. That's number 1. They don't have deep secrets about the career path. They don't understand the hidden factors in the career path or the industry. There are those that understand the deep things, but they are not hidden. They can get good money. There are also those that understand the hidden things, but those things are not deep. They also will get some money, but not big. The ones who the world will gravitate towards must be able to understand deep and secret things. The gatekeepers ensure that that percentage is only 20% in the world. Now, if you want to assess that realm, you must be able to work with your spirit to get the unfair advantage, industry by industry, area by area. It is a known fact that you will have to press into it deliberately. But there's a way you can groom yourself and really penetrate based on the industry you're in. And ignore this at your peril. There's a ceiling of knowledge and intellectual wisdom. You won't be able to go beyond that place. And the truth is, let me backtrack a little bit. You mentioned there are gates against having unfair advantage and being indispensable. Truly, none of us are indispensable. Let me say that again. This world is created and has become somewhat designed to not support indispensability. This needs to be written down. The world as it is, we all our existence is temporary. Nobody is really indispensable. You have to do your bit and go. So being indispensable is tough work, but it's highly rewarding. So that means that you must select the time and the space and the frame of reference that you want to be indispensable at. You can't be indispensable everywhere. You must choose the indispensability occasion and case. You must choose it. You must be deliberate. You can't be indispensable to everything and everywhere and everyone. No, you would lose. The sheer amount of investment. The interesting part is that investment is not difficult. The process is not complex if you are able to start the journey. I've been on that journey for 30-something years. I was very, very opportune in my teenage years to encounter a lot of knowledge. First of all, I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ, influenced my journey and my research journey. Number 2, my dad had a very big library. That's an engineer by profession, and he also has a very big library in psychology. And I began to dig very deep. I read loads of the books. As I was reading, I had more questions. And so I had the benefit of being able to pray. In the midst of all of this, a lot of answers. As a young teenager, I knew a lot of things. By the time I was 21, 22, that's almost 20 years ago now, man, I was smoking hot. I knew so many things, and I understood questions. And Joseph's an example of how God can actually help you not to perish under the cap of the wise men of Babylon. The king of Egypt, Pharaoh, had a dream. He didn't know the answer to the dream. They had to look for Joseph. He happened again as a model in the book of Daniel. Now, that gatekeeping, and thank you for that, Margaret, that's super awesome. Thank you for asking and starting that conversation from that place. Let me say this categorically. Those 2 men demonstrated that it's possible to be indispensable. Every wise man and all the priests of Babylon could not do anything. I mean, they told the king, they said, "Oh, king, live forever. This thing you are asking us to do is not possible among men. is only possible among gods whose living habitat is not among men. That's almost like saying we have to die. We don't know your dream. You're asking us to tell you your dream and interpretation because the king had the dream and even forgotten the dream. And here comes Daniel, who could just sit with his friends. And that's the principle. Being indispensable requires a network. It requires a group. He said, King, give me overnight. Don't worry, give me overnight. I will give you answers. By morning he came. And he said, this is the dream you had. And this is the meaning and the interpretation. And it happened for Daniel like twice or thrice. And history is littered with such things. There's a man in chemistry called Kekule. I don't, French people, Dr. Imo, I don't know whether that's the way to pronounce his name. Kekule. His name is Kekule. Now, Kekule, there was a confusion around the benzene ring. The benzene ring, the hydrocarbon benzene. Kekule was doing heavy research in the labs, and he couldn't get an answer. Many scientists have been on the matter for a while until Kekule came, and then he drew the structure. I think it's the hexagonal structure, if I remember, basic chemistry. Dr. Imo, please help me here, and Dr. Amaka, basic chemistry. And the guy said he saw it in a dream. And history is littered. The guy who founded penicillin actually said it, that he got his answers by inspiration because he had been in the laboratory for a while. So in between whatever you do secularly and the grace of God on your spirit, man, you can solve a lot of problems and really become indispensable so that it can break the invisible barrier that the wise men or the gatekeepers or the priesthood of Egypt and Babylon as a system has put there. And this is not a Christian mumbo-jumbo thing because we all have spirits. The only problem is that our educational systems, again by design, the educational system of Abraham Maslow of the industrial era in the 1980s, when it started, 1900s thereabouts, that was to prepare people for Henry Ford's revolution, Henry Ford's industrial revolution, ensures that we only learn outward curriculum. The problem is that the examinations of life have no timetable, order, or structure, and the human soul, secondly, cannot be legislated or directed about where it's going to flow to. The truth is that we are far bigger internally, and we have treasures in this earthen vessel that God has given us, and it's immense and big. I'm a student of those things. It's huge, what everyone could do. But the educational system today makes sure that it distills us into the realm of the three-dimensional world. Number two, the educational curriculum is what is given from the outside. There are people with courses of career in their spirit and their souls that have not been founded on the earth because there's no precedence to it. What you will notice is that people are doing stuff based on what the employer needs. But there are other career paths, other kinds of wisdom in people's souls that the planet right now cannot even accommodate because there's nobody asking for that job role. So the curriculum is different. The CV, the curriculum vitae, or the course of life that will bring those things out and give you unfair advantage is different. And there's a system in the educational system to keep you within the boundary of being the career paths that are needed today. So what we're saying is that and the economies of the world are failing. There's an economic problem. The poverty is increasing. And so we must break that 80-20 barrier. Difficult, but more persons must try to make greatness common and available. Remember, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We are not just small beings. I mean, brains that could conceive AI, although there's a joke around AI, that God created man, man created AI, AI will destroy man. I don't believe that narrative, but I think I understand where it's coming from very strongly. If you understand what's happening in AI, it's scary. We probably have given our future to those machines. The way we're going with it, I hope we're going to be able to stem the tide. But that's discussion for another broadcast LinkedIn live session. So I'll take a pause here, but I'll just answer Margaret's question because it matched my introduction, which is this book and every other material that in this particular series is dedicated to finding the secrets in your own industry. I went industry by industry that can make you to break the invisible barrier of the priesthood of Babylon and, in quote, as a metaphor, Egypt. And every structure is in the United Kingdom, everywhere in the world. In fact, it's guarded in some places so that it be entered into cultism. You got the Freemasonry, you got loads of organizations and bodies who are trying to guard and protect these things so that it's not commonplace. I'll stop there. Thanks, Margaret, for that. Really appreciate that feedback.
Just happy to do what I can to help.
Thank you so much.
You certainly have, Margaret. You certainly have. Well, look, I guess I'm trying to keep it simple. I accept the point that there's a spiritual element, a superhuman bits of us that we need to tap into. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yep.
When we tap into that, then we discover our superpowers, so to speak.
Yes.
Which then lets us do superhuman things.
Yes.
That's my basic surmise of what you and Margaret have been sharing. Of course, I agree. Now, I guess rather than religion, I talk about spirituality, and I talk about belief in ourselves and tapping into our inner reserves. All about communicating with our God, or whoever our God may be.
Yep.
That's spirituality is my way of looking at it, because I'm not religious. But I believe there's something greater than us. But I think tapping into that is it's a way to be. It's a way to be for sure.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Joni, if that's all right, and then we can go to Michael. So, Joni, how you doing?
Good to see you, Joni.
You're muted, Joni.
Hi, sorry, goodness. It's so windy right now, and it's a little nutty. So we're doing good here in Chicago. Anyways,
Michael was here but disappeared. Michael disappeared again. He was here just now. I don't know. Maybe his internet fell off.
I think he's still here.
No, Margaret's here. No, Michael's not here. I've lost him. It's not on my screen. It could be me.
I don't see him. Hi.
Anyway, Joni, share with us. How do you
become Coach David, I love your shirt because it's happy. It's happy. Yeah. And Christiana told me that one of her bosses did not like her Nigerian shirt, and I appreciate the style. So you look great. And so I agree with a lot of what you said. I think enlightenment is the term that we're kind of looking for, because you get there or you don't. And there's a lot of different paths to get to enlightenment, whether it be trauma or age or experience, whatever it may be. But you do get to a place of enlightenment, hopefully in your life, where it's feels joyful to just be who God gave you. So I very much agree with what you're saying. And if you don't mind, so Toni Morrison is one of my favorite people and authors. And I read a quote from hers earlier, and I'll share it with you guys if you don't mind.
All right.
So it says, we die, that may be the meaning of life. But we do language, that may be the measure of our lives. And anyone who is out there trying to write a book, trying to do a podcast, trying to speak to different communities, language is so vital. And I have found that in the midst of my various stuff. And so I wanted to share that with you, because she's a rock star and I love her. And just wanted to say congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you so much. I also read a quote by Marianne Williamson. That's the quote that Nelson just because you inspired that. Um, this movie called Aquila the Spelling Bee. Uh, who are we? Not to be gorgeous. I just want let me look for the quote on my phone. Apologies if I'm able to put it on my screen. Our deepest fear. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Nelson Mandela could not retaliate when people told him that as the president of South Africa after apartheid, he should retaliate. Let me put on my glasses just a minute. I don't like the glass because it makes me look like a professor.
Put the glasses on. They're hot. Keep them on. All right.
Yes, Marianne Williamson said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. Enlightenment, Joe, there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And that is spirituality, not religion. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Let me read the second time for emphasis. It's one of the biggest quotes that drive majority of my work and research. From the day I found this quote, I find time to borrow in it. I go away and I think deeply on the quote. It's by Marianne Williamson. That's the quote in Aquila the Spelling Bee. And that's the quote that Nelson Mandela used to take a lot of his decisions that made him the great leader that he was. Yeah, he said, I'll read slowly. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do, and we're born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is how we're designed. We're designed to be great. I mean, if you think about, I was sharing it at, I saw the, what's the name, the HR, the event yesterday, how to be your genius at work. I saw, I forgot just names, skip me. I'll still get to know all the names. Thank you for being here. We're saying yesterday that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Look, just think about your voice. You speak yesterday. You've been speaking for 40, 50, 60 years, and your voice never finishes. That's a big machine out there, bigger than anything you can think about. Just think about your leg. You're not forgotten how to walk. And for life, you won't forget. Let me say that in Jesus' name, or whatever persuasion you have. Think about how complex your feelings are. Think about how wonderful your ability to see is, how you can see in 3D. The machine is well created, for we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We have loads of resources, but there are gatekeepers, like Margaret said earlier, who keep us because they want to maintain economics. You see, poverty was man-made. The economic systems of the world and the migration systems of this world were man-made. That's not the original intention of the creation, of the creator and the design of the creation. So, Joe, thank you for that. We need to come out. That's what I'm picking up from what we need to be, the very best that will be created. We need to seek for answers for us and our children's children. None of us will be here 200 years from now.
There is a very interesting article that I think everyone should check out in the Wall Street Journal. I believe it was yesterday, about these 2 North Korean soldiers that were captured in Ukraine and had zero idea what war was. They just were there, and it was very enlightening, honestly. Like, there is 6,000 troops from North Korea aiding Russia and Ukraine right now. These kids, they don't know. They're just like, honor the motherland. And that's like that is interesting. Anyways, yeah, I don't nothing political. Okay, I'm gonna but anyways, I really did appreciate your comment on everything to do with just having a voice. And that was one of my favorite books I've ever read. And I think it's fantastic. And fun fact, just a little fun fact. So if you Googled me back in 2000, let's say, or 1999, I don't even know when Google started. The only thing that would show up is a letter I wrote to Nelson Mandela in prison.
Oh.
I feel like that's
You know,
like a generational experience that I am too young to know about, because I think he was released well before I was born.
Oh, wow.
before you were born. But I was like, wait, I wrote this as like a young adult, and yeah, that was the only thing that showed up for Google for ages, and it was like, Nelson Mandela, you're my hero.
Oh, the Madiba. The guy was a very good leader.
Thanks for bringing up his name, because he was one of my heroes.
Oh.
Like, I hope I'm not interrupting too much. I just wanted to go circle a little bit back to a point you brought back before, and that poverty is purely a human invention.
Yes, it is.
One of my favorite stories that I always really like, that proves it so well, was I forget the exact year that this Nobel Prize was awarded, but the story behind it is really great. I wish more people would care about it. So good. So there is a Bangladeshi economics professor who is teaching economics in his university. He wanders out amidst the streets and realizes most of the people he sees there are like so economically disenfranchised that most of the people have no ability to like own property or anything. So he walks out and is like, what can I do to help my own people? And so he really begins to realize that like the economics that he worked so hard to learn was all based on like Western led economics theory, because they were the credentialing process for economics academia, right? So he then goes on to invent the concept of the microloan, where there would be very small portions of cash that he would be the arbiter for locals that he met. And it was to mitigate the fact that a lot of the Western banks don't loan anything to anyone without any kind of credit history, right? Regardless of the fact that you need certain things in order to establish a credit history, right? Doesn't matter. It's whether or not you have a credit history, right? You know, that classic catch-22. But the concept became so successful that it was exported to be introduced to other countries that are considered beginning economies. And because of his work in the creation of the microloan, he was awarded a Nobel Prize. And I got some of his books, and the books about the microloan, and this guy's name is Muhammad Yunus, right? Yunus, if I remember right. But the fact that like it was so successful was bordered on how well he knew his own culture, right? That the repayment of loans is contingent on communal, is a personal honor thing, because if you don't honor it, then like you're disenfranchised by your own community locally, right? And that doesn't really exist anymore as a concept in the West. So reading his books was really interesting for me, and I just wish more people read them. But that was what your comment about poverty being an invention, that it always makes me think of that story. So thank you for good memories.
Yes. And Margaret, by the way, the
That
same
was such a
model.
wonderful share. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yes. And let me say this, Margaret and Joe, the same model we're discussing is what is happening over and over, the same model over and over and over. A few persons will sit down and discuss around the table and create policies that keeps Pareto optimality principle working. Design poverty systems, design misfortunes. Right now, there's a whole design of how many human beings we're going to have on the earth. There is a grand design. Well, that's one of the hidden lessons of COVID. The world is actually being designed by some people to be a certain way. Some people want some people to die off, and just so we have limited resources and they're being pushed the agenda. I don't want to go conspiratorial.
That's a big one. Look, I want to hear from Dr. Kechi, who's joined us.
Dr. Ochechi, yeah, Doctor, how are you?
Yeah, Trump was
Hold on,
swooping
hold
with
on.
it. Yeah,
Hold
I got
on.
it. Touchy subject today.
People, you disrupt my flow, right? So before we go to Dr. Uchechi, let me welcome Henry Stevenson. Liana, I see you too. Dr. Ellen, thank you for joining us. Michael, of course, I see you. Jackie Raymond, one of my amazing editors who will take the flab out of your content. That way it's more succinct and not 600 pages long, Coach David, right? We all need Jackie Raymond. Like, she's an expert at cutting content, make it concise, precise, and not lose your meaning and your tone. Linda, welcome as well. Luz, I see you. Tope, welcome. Laverne, I see you here as well. Thank you for joining us again. Laverne's book launch next week, next Friday. By this time next Friday, Laverne will be an international best-selling author. You come and buy her book. I'm scared about Coach David's book now. 600 pages. I don't know what that cost. I don't know what your price is, but we'll find out after our show with Coach David. Seraphine, I see you as well. Welcome, all of you. I can't see you on my stream yet. That's why I have to go to back to my LinkedIn to see all of you. Who do I see here? Robert Morgan, I see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're here. So let's talk. Oh no, Dr. Uchechi, you're back again. You're not back. Add to stage. Okay. Doctor, you're next. Please unmute and share with us on the topic.
Doc, you're muted.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hello, can I be heard?
That's it. We're all great. They're shy to tell you, but the fact that you're here makes me happier.
Yes. I'm even more happy to be on stage with Coach David, yourself, and all the amazing persons I've been listening to for a while. It's just that I have a bit of a network challenge here. So I just want to add briefly, because I actually came here to learn. I had already spoken to Coach David. I'll be here to listen to all of us. But what actually makes me stand out, that I become irresistible, is my ability to keep adding value. keep adding value. Make sure you shift your focus from the money. We all look at the money. What do I stand to get? Like what am I bringing to the table? I read a quote this evening, and somebody was asking that question. What do you bring to the table? I know that's what comes to our mind the first time. And then I think when we start drifting our mind and changing our mindset from what we will stand to gain to adding
I would say patience, my friends. I count to 10. So I'm sure Dr. Ikechi will come back in good time. So, like,
This is exactly why I didn't put camera on, because my Wi-Fi is also doing weird stuff, because like increase in video quality really is a strain on the bandwidth.
Yeah, I think it's more than a strain on the bandwidth. I think we are for discovering how poor our internet connections are. It's not just you, I think all over the world. These video streaming platforms have shown that our internet is poor.
The problem is that the infrastructure is not updated as rigorously as the end tech, right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's fundamentally the problem, because no one wants to take on the upfront costs immediately, and government has been whittled down so much that they don't really have the resources either to make that really possible anymore. Of course, I can only speak for the United States.
No, that's it's the same problem. So Africa especially is struggling. As Africa is struggling with the cost and quality of data, quality of connection, but also the cost is proving prohibitive.
Yeah, it's
a thing.
So Margaret, you're such a genius. I must say that.
No, she really is. She really is.
I wouldn't call that about myself, but I'm really honored that I can help.
That's microelectronics coach. She knows things that I can't even imagine. She really
and I'm not stroking your ego at all. So again, I spent a considerable amount of my years in telecommunications and IT. And I've rolled networks out. What you're describing is a global telecom challenge. The demand for video on-prem in the last 5 to 7 years was not the design of the backbone of the network.
Yeah.
The transmission part of the network was designed to transmit only text, emails, with a little bit of streaming. With the advent of more video and the demand of guys like Amazon at the commercial level, where all home entertainment has moved to on cloud. So we're streaming more on the cloud, and they are buying in bulk from the tech companies. There's
so many layers to this problem, Coach David, that I feel like we can't do them justice in this immediate format for this one talk. I would like have so many visuals that all like are transparent so that they can be layered on top of each other, just to really show like just how dynamically clashing they all are with each other. So I don't know, that's just me.
Thank you for that. I just said that to say thank you so much. That's on point. Any over to you.
Do you want to go back? Do you want to tackle Dr. Uchechi's points, or
yes. Remember, money was not an original invention of creation. Money was a creation of man to solve the exchange value problem. What was the origin of money? The origin of money was that we started trade by barter. I need something from Any needs something from me. How do we exchange commercial value? If Any was somebody farming tomatoes and I am farming cocoyam, how many tomatoes would mean how much cocoyam. This was the origin of money. So the government issued, for example, a $20 bill to build value into. That's the whole value. The $20, the 20-pound bill is that the CBN governor or the government or the chief exchequer of the nation says, when any presents this 20-pound or $20 bill to you, give him the benefit of the doubt. He has $20 stored in a vault somewhere, or 20 pounds stored in a vault somewhere, and give him goods in my name. I can guarantee that your $20 is safe, because with us, back end, it has the commercial value. This is the origin of money. So money is not value. Value preceded money. But we got to the time when, by economic engineers and by psycho re-engineering and neuroplasticity, the richest of the richest, and this culture started with the Medici family in Europe, the fathers and the founders of modern banking and financial services. They're the ones who the government of Europe used to perpetrate the love or the idolization of money. Our brains have been rewired to look away from value and think money. So if you give someone value, they hate you. They hate you. If you give them money, they love you. Let me get an example. If I ask you, say, can I give you all your needs, but I won't give you any money? Can I give you everything that you would need in your life? You need to own a jet, I give it to you. You need to own a house, I'll give it to you. Whatever you want, I'll be giving to you. But I will never give you a dime. Or option B, can I give you all the money in the world anytime you come to me to buy anything? We would rather get all the money. Majority of persons will say, no, excuse me, I don't want you to know everything I'm going to buy. So the paper gives a sense of freedom that is false. Our palate, we salivate. We have been psycho-conditions, Pavlov's theory of conditioning.
Hold on. You didn't say I'll give you a jet and all the fuel you ever need, and the pilots and everything you ever need.
Everything you ever need.
That jet's not going to run itself, right? The jet needs money to run it.
Thank you. Thank you. You won't believe me. Thank you.
It didn't money.
You won't believe me.
Question: are you referring to the Heifer Project, or am I? I'm not sure if I remember the exact name, but it was it was a charity that they talked about where donating a certain amount of money would give a family a chicken or a goat or like a cow, and then they could initiate exchange of value through what those animals produced as byproduct, right?
Yeah. Is
that what you mean, or am I just confused?
Yeah, that's part of the body of research. But however, the bigger argument, the body of research in behavioral economics states that people would rather take money than value. That people don't believe you're going to give them all their needs. They feel you're going to get tired. For whatever reason, people just pick the dollar note. It's so bad that many people say, can I give you £100,000 in 10 years? Or would you rather take £25,000 today? 95% of persons said, is the African expression for really. What if you are dead in 10 years? That's the African expression of, I would take 25,000 is still much now. What if I'd rather invest the money myself? There's a false sense of security that has no meaning. That we have money has become so strong, and we've been reconditioned in our palates to believe money is everything. That reconditioning is part of a spiritual work. You must rewire your mind that value is not money. Money is a means to representing value. This subtle equation, billionaires know this. The richest of the richest, they are familiar with that line of thinking. It's clear to them. The choices they make repeatedly, you see them going after value, 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 not money. No number scares them. No number makes them excited. They are looking at ultimately what's the bigger game. So that's an example of the conditioning that's led us in that direction, Dr. Ochichi. I hope you're still in the house. We've been reconditioned as human beings, and this reconditioning started in the days of the Medici, the banking, the guys who set the rule of banking and money all over the world. The wealth of the world, the Rothschild family and the Medici family, they are the ones who are ruling the world finance till today, the same dynasty. And they actually have mastered how to use money to control kings and even the economy.
Look, I get. No, look, what aiming for money as our goal is futile. I agree with you on that one. I think we get money when we provide value. I get that. When we help people is when we get money. And there's no point us wanting loads of money if we're not willing to do the work to help others. And that's my personal belief. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yep.
Look, let me throw, and Christiane, I'm going to come to you next, right?
And I also wanted to just make one note. I mean, I believe it was World Vision. I don't know though, that it offered people to donate for people to get a little farm. But I mean, the barter system that started money basically is not exactly fair to people who were of certain hierarchy, is why money started, and then tablets started, and then actual commodities started. So it's not a modern day invention. I think if you're a modern day person and you're enlightened, then you don't care about having a private jet with fuel and a pilot. Like, I mean, how ridiculous.
I do.
Much more dangerous.
They're much more dangerous.
Much faster on that.
It's more, look, Jody, you and I argue this every day, right? Every day, literally. It's not the money, it's the value that people place.
It's so the value. Like, get it, part of your interior core, that you are interesting, that you can provide something, and it doesn't necessarily matter how much money you're paid, as long as got a roof over your head. Got a roof over your head.
Joni, it matters to me how much money I'm paid, because when people don't pay me, I don't feel valued. I feel insulted.
Yeah, that's the Nigerian in you.
That's just facts, though. That's just facts, though, across the board.
Hold on, that's a businessman in me who realizes that I can't pay my staff if you don't pay me.
I'm more of a risk taker. I'm like, okay, don't pay me. You have.
Let me welcome McIntyre. Welcome to Marco. Welcome. I see you. Thanks for joining us from Facebook. We appreciate you. I say again, if you're on my YouTube, on Coach David's YouTube, please like, engage, comment, and subscribe. We want you to stick around our YouTube for as long as you can. Build up our watch out. Build up our subscribers. It helps us. Joni, we will argue this money thing forever, I'm sure. Look, the reason I argue with Joni is not because I don't like her. Actually, I love Joni, but the reason I argue with you, Joni, is because I think people are scared about money and they got the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying it, Joni. If I said to myself, Annie, you don't need any money, the gods might hear me and say, you don't need any money, Annie, and then I'll get no money. Whereas if I say I need financial freedom, I need millions, gazillions, yeah, why not? Then the gods might listen and say, Annie, you can have the gazillions that you want. That's what I want. That's why I live, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But give me the money.
Disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Go on then. I'll let you make your case.
I think that, I guess if you grew up in some sort of certainty that you would be provided for, like chip on your shoulder, that life will provide for you. And that's not true. That is not true. But if you are education children,
You're not coming through clear,
Yeah.
Joe. I can't understand what you're saying.
You're breaking up. I don't know why. You're suddenly breaking up.
Oh,
If you cut the video feed, maybe the audio will remain good.
Yeah, try it.
Can you guys hear me clearly now?
Yeah. And it's working for a second, so it's working now.
I cut the LinkedIn feed.
Excellent.
So, what I was saying, I don't disagree with you. I think if you grow up in an environment where you feel like life is okay, like it's just, you're not gonna not be provided for, not like all the riches in the world, but like you didn't feel scared, then you kind of like feel like you're impenetrable. And then when you get penetrated and you're just like, oh shit, I gotta make some money, and you do the hard work and are able to get the education, then it's like this empowering feeling, which is what I have, which is sort of what I call enlightenment. And kind of understanding other people's struggles.
But isn't that still exchanging for value because you have value to provide?
Yes.
Maybe I'm missing something here.
No. I don't. I think value for value that's what life is about. I mean, you're not just nothing, and you're not a beggar, and so you kind of have to have some chutzpah behind that. Annie and I feel like we agree on that. Like we agree in the work that's put in.
Yeah, we agree. But this is my question to you, Coach David. You talk about poverty earlier. I think Joni just explained my thinking. Of course, I've listened carefully, and you explained that the gatekeepers are the ones keeping us away from our true selves, our true greatness, maybe even our true riches, right?
Yep.
Right. I guess my question, I can see where you're coming from, but deep down, I believe that it's choices we make that keep us down.
Yep.
We are our own worst gatekeepers. Because now what you were saying earlier about now, the reality is not that we might fail. The reality is that we're great beyond what anyone can imagine. The reality is that Joni, we can make more money than we can think about.
Yep.
That's not a bad thing. I'm saying we are the ones who limit our thinking, our success, our results.
Yep.
It is also
Annie, I'd rather be friends with 1 million people around the world and than have $1 million.
Yeah. Let me.
I struggle with that one, Joni.
I don't know. I like different points of view.
It's a classic because then if you have 1 million friends all over the world, you can get each one possibly to send you $3, and then boom, $3 million.
Never. I would never ask for money.
I can invest my $1 million and make 20 million.
Like that too, but you would I don't know. But it's a classic joke, which is why I thought of that answer. But
I guess I'm on the bad side of that joke.
Like while the value to value exchange is solid, there's still thing that is also true is that value is not assessed equitably depending upon the source of that value. That is definitely a problem.
Yes. I agree with that. Look, the reason I talk about this money issue is because I think we need to be definite about what we want. And when we're not definite, then we don't get what we want. So I might even go as far as saying a lot of people deny their money needs. I don't know why. Money is not evil. Money is a good thing. It helps you do more. You can help more people. You can help yourself. You can help your family, your friends, those who need. You can help Africa if you got money. I'm saying that's what Bill Gates does, right? Because that's what you can use money. The love of money is not the problem. What I think is a problem is people who say I don't need money, and then the universe hears you and they say it's right. You don't want money. You ain't getting none. And they wonder why they stay poor.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Annie, we're saying the same thing, and thank you for that. Thank you for that. We must be conscious of our language. Life and death and the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruits thereof. I agree with you again. The only thing I'm saying is that the paper notes is not value. The core understanding of what you want as being value, as a component of your spirit man, because money was an invention of man. It's coming from the realm and the construct of an economist. If I dig deep into economics now, you're going to see a lot of fraud in the thinking. So as long as you continue to see money as physical cash and is not value, and you attach some freedom at a psycho-emotional level based on the examples I gave, you're going to make all the wrong choices because you keep looking for the notes. You keep looking for the notes. And when you look for the note, the gatekeepers have already positioned the note a certain way, knowing you're going to chase for it.
Look,
and so they use that to keep you bound.
The riches comes from serving more people.
Absolutely.
That's where the riches come from. If you focus on just serving people, it's my belief anyway, the money will come anyway. The money will come naturally.
Let's edit that statement to the value will come.
Yes.
Freedom will come. But when you said the money will come, let me give a typical example. People who think that serving more people will bring you wealth don't mind staying long hours. But people who feel that it's a game of money will grumble and complain when you give them extra work. People don't think, for example, that I'm gaining more skill sets in quotes. I'm connecting with more people. I'm getting more experience and I can charge down the line more hours because now I have a deeper skill set to serve more people better. If we keep limiting, what I'm saying is that the 20 pound or 100 pound note has been engineered deep into the souls of men as the motivating factors. And people chase a ton of money and then they are totally unhappy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of suicide within the reach of the richest. So one of the big work that this book seeks to do, by the way, I posted the Amazon links where you can actually see my materials and you can purchase them. We want you to do that for the launch. Whenever that will happen, please, we need you to hold fire.
Don't buy the ebook yet. No, don't buy the book yet. Wait till the launch date. A month from now. You know how I work, my friends. 5 sessions.
Yeah, thereabout. So you must, for example, distance yourself from immediate cash flow, the tyranny of immediate cash flow. Why you need cash flow to succeed?
That can't be right. Listen,
please wait. Let me just land on this.
No cash, bankrupt.
I agree, but I'm talking about immediate cash flow. The craze to make just $1, $2, £3, £4, and then someone says, can you come go learn this skill for 6 months and you're going to go ramp up in value? The money mentality says collect what you can grab because tomorrow is unsure. The rich, wealthy mentality says, really? What are my risks? What are my guarantees? How would I make it? Yeah, that's what thank you for that, Kita King. Good to see you. Immediate gratification is key. So what I'm saying, we need to remove the physical cash as a spirit element and then look for value. We need to peel behind and look for value. Then true work will show itself to us. But the gatekeepers know the game. Increase your man hours, give you a sprinkle of water here and there, and you don't ask the bigger questions anymore. Once your stomach is full, you just go to work, you come back. You don't bother about any spirit work, anything. This guy is mad. You be thinking, what spirit work? I can eat food. This guy is asking me. I mean, you begin to think, oh, I have food, I have clothing, I have shelter, I have Wi-Fi. I can call my friends on Saturday night. I can go to any vacation I want. We have children. Let's come and go and die. That's how people are thinking.
You see, but we are more enlightened. I think we know better, right? And then, so the point I was making before I got into Barney with Joni, it's not Barney with Joni, you know, it's me and Joni just doing what we do, right? You know, so here's the point, you know, I think some of us know that there is a greater part of us.
Yeah.
They don't seem to care to awaken it or activate it. They're quite happy. You know, people are happy to keep making maybe human human choices, right? Rather than thinking and rather than having that faith that you talked about, you know, that faith that you'll be here in 10 years' time, rather than having that long-term outlook. Of course, all this will come with, you know, in terms of being indispensable and you know, inexpendable at work. You know, it will come with doing good work to serve people, right? People don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work that they know they have to do. They don't want to believe. They don't want to have the faith. They don't want to believe in spirituality. They don't want to have the vision for themselves.
Like, this has been an interesting journey. I'm sorry for the interruption, but this has also been an interesting journey for me because I grew up in academia culture, you know, where doubt is everything. And if you have due diligence, due meticulousness of ascertaining whether or not things are true, etc. Like, that was the core of how I knew that I grew up. And that's kind of the philosophical opposite to faith. It's a very different dynamic.
Yeah, I agree. Margaret, you muted?
Yeah, I muted. I wanted to let other people make their point too.
Okay, Annie, you're muted, Annie.
I like being muted. It says me
Margaret? Margaret, I also grew up in a very academia type culture. I mean, my mom taught at Harvard. My dad was in the Navy and ran an architectural firm. And so we had a lot of academia types. And that is a wonderful part about me that says always look at the gray area. Like, not everything is black and white. And so that has made me into who I am today, with other sort of traumas that have happened in my life, that I can figure them out in my own way, complemented by that. And so that's a really good thing. So you're lucky. So don't hesitate to just enjoy that part about yourself.
Oh, I try, but I'm just so used to enacting scrutiny as a devotion practice that it's very interesting to try and experience the other possible dynamics that exist.
Yeah. Again, you know, it's what we do with the gifts we have, right? Coach David, back to you.
Yes. So sorry, I didn't get that question. Sorry.
So much a question. I think it's about leveraging the gifts we have,
Oh,
making the
yes.
best of situations. You know, whether you're born rich, then so be then. So yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be a certain way or not. Something that we can determine how we leverage our unfair advantage almost. I think
Yes.
ultimately we have to build on the advantages that we do have.
Yes. Yes.
Element.
I agree with you. We all have unusual advantages. Like Marianne Williamson said, we are talented, fabulous, and gifted. We're so gifted that it's unbelievable what we have together within us. And a lot of us have to discover it. The world is waiting for your genius. Thanks, Lavan, yesterday, what Lavan and Carla showed us, for example, using the drive model, is that you have some unique giftings. And like I said, there are many models. There's the HBDI, Hammond Brain Dominance Indicator. There's Meyer-Briggs indicator. There's a long list of kind of indicators that show how talented we are. We are remarkably gifted as human beings. You won't believe how very powerful we are. I've studied human capacity for some years now, and I can tell you everyone is talented at very unusual levels. But you see, whatever talent you have, someone has it too. And it's a competitive world out there. You must go beyond that talent and include spirit work. Your spirit helps you to now deliver things that are unique. And all of us have very unique capacities in the spirit that can help us be indispensable. We can solve problems of Pharaoh and the problems of the Nebuchadnezzar, of the king of Babylon, the emperor or whoever the king of Babylon is, as a metaphor. And our spirit man is the only way we can actually overcome the gatekeeping of the gatekeepers. The systems of this world are arranged a certain way, and it doesn't matter who you think you are.
You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute, Coach David. I don't know why you're on mute.
We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you're on mute for about 30 seconds.
Oh, sorry. Because I saw myself freeze. I was wondering what's going on. So, like I said, we have capacities within us that are very big. And I can give you examples of them. There's something in many industries called briefing. You have it in the military, you have it in creative advertising, PR. You can brief agencies and organizations, brief. The military, you brief people. But there's something I call spirit briefing. When you can listen to the mind of your client, when you can peel the brief beyond the words, where you can feel, when there's a synchronization, a perfect synchronization between the thoughts, emotions, imagination, mood, memory, and the exact representation in the mind of your client in the shortest possible time. Now that's spirit work. Now that the skill set you use, for example, is active listening. But there's a way to listen with your spirit rather than just listening with your ears alone and with your mind alone. When you listen with your spirit, you're able to hear phrases and thoughts that will help you answer the brief at a level of capacity that makes you to not waste time. The client sees the idea that you submitted, and the person says, wow, were you in my mind? Now, that component, I've seen creatives and business leaders who've used it before. Now, they are not naive in their work. They are superstars in terms of briefing. They know how to take brief. But on top of that, they've activated their spirit men in terms of active listening. That's just one microscopic kind of gift. Where you watch someone and you are able to hear their mind precisely and craft a solution that's like that exact thing. And that's spirit talking to spirit. You see, theoretically, let me say this, in the spirit realm, words are a liability. Because words are not meanings. Words are deeper than meanings. So meanings are deeper than words. Words is the interpretation that we give, that we try to measure with. In the spirit, meaning is deeper. For example, in French, you have masculine chair, masculine house, feminine house, based on who owns it. But in English language, if you say there's a masculine house, and he's going to look at you like, well, is there a medical doctor? Is there he's slightly depressed? How can you say a bag is masculine? Bag is masculine.
Like English and French diverged in their history.
Thank you. Thank you. So meaning Meaning is what we try to capture in the spirit. Words is the way we try to get there. But when you are able to listen and you've developed your spirit, there are people who don't know, and this experience, this has been done in the military. They can't hear the physical language, but they can hear the mind of the person. There are exercises that helps you to hear someone's mind, though what they are saying you can't understand or comprehend in your mind. But your heart, your spirit, the place of your super humanity is able to hear what they are saying and answer and respond to them. And when the person develops that capacity, the person can also hear you. Now, these are experiments done, the military have done these experiments, but there's a system in place to ensure that that knowledge is not common stream. Because if it becomes common, then you're going to become too super wealthy. Majority of the CEOs today, all the richest guys in the world today, have this understanding and knowledge. You're in a business meeting with them and they can hear your mind loud and clear. What you're about to do, the things you think are hidden, they are listening to you. Trust me, these things exist. But there are many people who are very naive about it, and they've not even developed half a competency in that direction. Is this, for example, distractions of a higher salary that tax will take away the majority of them that we're all looking for? And on a more serious note, we need to re-even poverty. We have many poor creatives, many poor supply chain experts, many people who are even sufficiently rich, but they're just living. The capacities in the spirit are very huge. We are fabulously created. We are amazingly created. Those who are genius among us are probably using 3 to 5% of their entire capacity. That's what scientists have said. By the way, I saw Christiana earlier. Anyway, I'll use the mic again to you, Emmy. But we have to grow these innate capacities, and there's a way it can be done.
I agree. Look, of course, I think we're talking about the power of mindset and the power of mindfulness. That's what this conversation really is. Is it that they can read your mind, coach, or is it that they know what they want and they've set their intentions and their spirit gives them what they want?
Both are correct, but there are people who can listen to your mind, exactitude. They will tell you what you're thinking. It's not in the military.
Yeah. How can I know you're one of those, for example. So that's why I'm not going to argue this one with you. But I think it's our intentions that they read. It's our intentions is what we're communicating. Yeah, almost without knowing it. I don't know if you have good in your heart, people will know. If you have something else in your heart, people will know too.
Yes. Because before you speak, at the base of your will, your intellect and your emotion, there is transmission. So that intention is not as hidden as you think it is. And after a while, intelligent people will listen to you and they'll be like, no, this guy is going this direction. Now, what we're saying is that we were all created originally with those kind of capacities. Yeah. But somewhere along the line, we lost it. As soon as we came into the world,
it's coming back. It's coming back through people, through books like yours. It's coming back through the learning that we are doing about mindset. And I truly know, because the knowledge that we are gathering, we're not even gathering knowledge. The knowledge that we're disseminating, it's been there for hundreds of years. I mean, it's how the rich got rich. It's how,
I agree.
That's why I talk mindset half the time, because the knowledge is there. Like you said right at the beginning, it's not that hard. It's quite simple. But we choose not to learn. But we'll learn, coach. We'll learn. Michael, talk to us. Michael, please unmute first.
Yes, sir.
Yay. What do you want to say on our topic, Michael?
Oh, please, Margaret, it was the Normandy that separated the English language, because it used to be, I think, gosh,
English was very gendered.
It was,
and then as the centuries progressed and English colonized much of the world, gendering just became obsolete.
Absolutely. and then diversified, but it was the French English situation. So, but I love that you just brought that to my attention. So, I'm muting. Sorry, Annie.
Let me welcome Elliot. Elliot, I see you on my LinkedIn, but not my StreamYard. Welcome. Elliot says he's learning a lot at the moment, so thank you for joining us, of course. So I'm glad you're learning that. I'm getting the flavor of how these rooms are going to go. There'll be interesting conversations. Michael, you're unmuted, but you haven't spoken.
Coach, I wanted to.
You're sounding far, Michael.
Yeah, you're sounding very far. Come nearer to your device.
Okay, hold on a second.
My LinkedIn friends, no, not you, my YouTube friends, you're doing great. Coach David's YouTube friends as
How
well.
about now? Can you hear me better?
That's much better. Go for it.
Okay, all right. What I'd like to ask you, Coach, is I'd like to know if there are any other spiritually attuned people who you know of. I know of several others, but I don't know the names exactly right now. I have to look them up. But I wondered if you had run into several people who were more than capable
Yeah.
in terms of tapping into this realm.
Oh, yeah.
I also understood that in the spirit world you can actually transfer yourself through, I think yoga it is. Is it yoga and meditation?
Yeah.
You can actually make a connection into this world and transfer your own spirit into this world. Go in there and actually move around, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
Then
you referring
come
to
back
quantum
into your body.
entanglement or any of the quantum timeline transference?
Almost
That's a
that.
scientific term.
Almost,
Well, it's
Margaret,
not quite
almost.
quantum entanglement, but
No, it's not quantum entanglement, but it's not, it's in between. It's in between the mind natural meditation and following into the spirit realm to move around, move things, do work, and then come back. It's close to astral
astral
travel.
travel?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, that's what he's describing.
Oh,
Can you
I don't know
discuss a
about
little
that.
bit more about that, if you are knowledgeable in terms of that? How does it
I do.
happen? Yeah,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Okay. So my persuasion is I'm a Christian. And how did I learn these things? I had to read up about them because I met people of other spiritual persuasions, and the world is full of them. It's what you don't search into. There are people today who travel to space to go listen to the planet. That is, they sit in a room and they sort of teleport into space and they go to Mars, they go to different places, and then they come back in the body and they tell us things that will happen, and those things have happened exactly how they said it. And there are conferences today where this is commonplace. There are conferences today where these things are done. I have a small challenge, and it's a big one, British English. I'm a Christian, and in quotes, a spiritual guide by the persuasions of Christ Jesus. So because of that, I'm aware from an intellectual perspective. I don't practice those things. But when I read their materials, I understand what they are talking about. The only challenge is that there's also the negative spiritual realm in code, the realm of demons and principalities and powers. And opening yourself up to some of those influences is because you want to experience the tree of knowledge of good and evil that made man to fall from the original estate. You see, man did not need to know these things because he was in the image and likeness of the Almighty God. What Adam knew was what God knew. What God knew was what Adam knew. Everything was okay until man became curious, and by that curiosity, he made a mistake. And not man didn't make the mistake. The woman influenced the man in quote, and this is not the gender war. Out of love, man decided to follow his wife, and which is good. The only thing is that I know a lot about it. So your question specifically, there is the natural ability to foray and question things by meditation. There's the general ability of your mind to ponder on matter and get results. to sit in a place quietly and soberly, to cut off from noise and distraction and focus your mind on a matter, you will penetrate through many realms and get solutions that never existed before. That is available to all men. But many people want more, and therefore they encounter spirit entities that begin to help them. That's where the problem comes. That's where the problem comes in. People have done astral projection and they couldn't come back into their bodies, they died. Because it's something called the silver cord. It's also in the Bible, by the way. When you transport yourself through those means, what begins to happen to you is that you're looking for more. Your appetite increases for more. And then you meet spirit entities that introduce themselves to you. And if you're not under a very guided coach or someone that understands the spiritual realm, people go on journeys and don't come back. Some people from there just sleep off, and doctors have said they can't wake them up again. Those things are very serious. But there's the one that we can all begin, the small thing, the smaller ones. If you know the capacity in an office of 100 employees, the people who are searching deep in their soul, just using ordinary everyday yoga in quote, or what you call meditation deeply, just breathing exercises, sit down and tune into your spirit and tune into yourself on a constant basis and just breathe. You can turn music through your mind, preferably, or turn a particular idea on your mind repeatedly. If you know out of 100, how many people do it well? It will shock you that maybe 5 to 10 maximum. That's the problem. So I know a lot about them. I can recommend some books for you and some materials, but I'm very wary because at a point you leave the natural realm of human understanding and you begin to deal with spirit entities. Here is where it gets very complex. And that's why I stay on the side of the persuasions of the Bible and Christianity. But I recognize and I've met people who are of other persuasions. We interact very well. We talk because I know their language, I understand their limbo, I understand where they're coming from, and I also have discernment. So I know when they're describing experiences to me or they're describing stuff to me, I understand. Generally, because I've been on this journey for 30 years, I've done a lot of reading. I know what their weaknesses are. I know that there's an aggregation, there's a plan, a group on the earth or some sets of groups that are trying to darken understanding and not allow people have access to this enlightened knowledge. It's a big group, and they are very rich. But funny enough, something is happening in England. Every single book is available now in the bookstore. All the things they're trying to hide, the bookstores have the books now. Something happened in 1990 to 2000 when some particular sects of spiritual enlightenment said they wanted to recruit more younger people into their sects. That movement started in the 60s and 80s. Now it matured in the 1990s, late 1990s and year 2000. There's almost nothing hidden anymore because of the advent of knowledge and the internet. And you see the new ChatGPT and Google Gemini, you won't believe what's going on there behind the scenes. You won't believe. You will not believe. I think those things are very esoteric.
Well, but that would be another conversation for another day.
For another day. So, yeah. But the bigger point is, if you ask me a direct question about those things, yes, it exists. As you're seated now, Michael, if you close your eyes and decongest your emotions and your thoughts, your feelings and imaginations, and you begin to tune in, there are answers already in your spirit, very deep. There are things you want to find out that the answers will be coming to you after the third day. And this is not anything spiritual or deep. This is just you not interacting, you detoxifying your mind and concentrating on an issue. Answers will begin to come to you. You begin to see streams of answers. You are created that way. It's just that we go to work using only our physical eyes, not the inner eyes. We go to work using our physical ears, not the inner ears. If you manage to develop your inner ears at the same level, some of us have 30 years of education. Some of us have PhD holders, but we've not gone to 1 hour school about the spirit man, about your spirit man and how to grow it. Some people have not done 2 hours course, and they are now about 50, and they've done all the courses, but they can't listen to their spirits. So the only faculties available to them is what everybody's doing. So that's my answer.
You're talking about the third eye. what they call the third eye.
Ooh,
Are you correct about that? Am I correct about that?
yes, that's what it's called. But I don't agree with the concept of the third eye
Mm. It's
because because it is rooted in some people's experiences. Spiritual sight, spiritual sight is not located physically in the body. It's located psychologically in cognition. Let me explain the meaning of that mumbo jumbo. If I tell you that, Michael, can you see the red car? Can you imagine a red car? The place you saw that red car in is where your spiritual sight is. Where is that place? Is it your heart? Is
Ethiopia,
it your
Addis
head?
Ababa.
Thank
Because
you.
my dad had a red car. So
Thank
he
you.
just automatically took me there.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's simple. I took you to Addis Ababa, but that's your spiritual eyes. The place you conceive that in is a place information will land. If I want to tell you the next thing, and then I can begin to auto suggest and do a lot of things, and that's realm of hypnosis. And imagine the red car is the best kind of red car you've ever experienced. A car that's not yet created. Maybe you see a Tesla. Then maybe you see yourself in France where you saw another car. Now, where is that spiritual eyes? Where is that eyes? It's not the third eye. So this third eye thing is a representation and a misleading of those who don't understand what's going on.
Hmm.
It's not true. That's not correct. It's some people's expression, and within their own sects, they open people's third eye by placing in the forehead. Is a symbol for deep imaginative place. Actually, if you were to locate it biologically, third eye would be at the back, somewhere where the retina, where the image forms at the back of the head. That's where it will be.
The
Not this
medulla
place that they
oblongata.
put it. They're deceiving you. I think is a means to hide it from you where the real thing is happening. It's to make it mysterious. That's why
Okay,
I
so
recommend you to go for spiritual classes. I have the ones I organize, but you need to grow. You need to go to classes where your spirit man is trained. How do you listen to your spirit man? Do you know your body speaks to you? Your
oh
joints
yeah,
speak to you.
right. It's called meditation. Meditate and understand your chakras, and you find your spirit self. But we have to give ourselves time to quieten down and meditate.
Thank
To find
you.
out. And
Yeah,
prayer
thank
is
you.
you. Prayer is you talking to God. Now, meditation is God talking to you.
Absolutely,
Are you talking
absolutely,
to yourself to find the answers? Same thing, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
You know,
And so let me also say this. These things are there. Once a while, you meet someone, you meet someone, and then you're like, something told me the guy was lying. My something. See that something. That's your spirit man. Is there. It's already working with you, but because there is no faculty, where we train the five senses. Some of us learned fire by touching it. When small children see fire, they will run in. The parents carry it away. After a while, they take your hand to touch the fire. You are totally educated because you remember the pain, and then as a baby, you run away. In like manner, we need to train our faculties up so that we can hear. Some people are strong risk management, risk identifiers. My dad, for example, if he tells you something is going to drop in the house, keep that cup, that tumbler, that glass cup, keep it in the middle of the table. It's going to fall down. Give that tumbler 5 to 7 minutes. If you guys don't move, it's going to fall down. So my younger sister asked him one day, say, how do you know these things? The man said, well, he just observes that if he sees an image in his mind like a flash, it will happen. Now that is observation. He has observed that an image will flash, and it's a very brief flash. But a lot of us are so engrossed during the day we work and everything that we don't notice the flashes when they come. It's much later. Let me tell you one. Anybody that experienced crime will say this. A few hours or minutes before crime happens, the victims of crime, and even especially the vicious crimes, always say things like, there was this unease. If armed robbers will rob in a house, that night, there's a feeling. They won't know until after the crime. That's because some people have decided to visit that house. And their subconscious is telling them, if you see somebody saying, I had it in mind to lock the door, but somehow I was too tired on the bed. That thing kept on telling me to lock the door, and it was unusual. That's your spirit man already there. But we've not been to any class to train us on how to listen. There's a whole school on how to see, how to open your spirit. I just gave you the first set of lessons. I say, think about the red car. You were in the red car. As you were in the red car, you were driving. Then there was a barrier. And when you crossed the barrier, you came down to pluck a fruit. When you ate the fruit, you were really, really happy. Then you sat down, took a phone call. As I'm talking, you're probably seeing images. That's your spiritual eyes. And that's how to start to train it, by giving it assignments on a daily basis. There's also your spiritual ears. There's a script to grow it. As you do those things more, you're going to begin to receive signals. Someone will pass you and then you know their mind. Someone will walk past you. And this one yet in the spiritual, deep spiritual end. But there are systems that keep you at work, that give you shifts to ensure that your brain does not even ask these questions.
Are you talking about self-hypnosis or
No. Self-hypnosis is now trying to change or motivate or do something to yourself because you now understand yourself. I'm even talking about awareness, self-awareness, to know that I have a spiritual eye and this is the location. I have a spiritual ear. Let me tell you, things like fear are fed by your spiritual eyes and ears. There is no fear that does not have a conversation. There is no fear that man has that does not have an inner, there's some words being spoken to your subconscious mind. Many of us can't hear the word, but we can hear the feeling. And then we are overpowered by fear. Everyone who fears needles, for example, will see the needle as very big. Everyone who fears needles, injection, we
That's me.
always, when
I'm one of those. It's a huge needle. They're all huge, all of
thank
them,
you, thank you.
and,
You know
and
when
they're gonna break in my arm.
you know when the nurse does the needle, they will not look at your face and then do the needle to measure then some of it will come out. Those things make you dead before the needle touches you. Even if the needle were to be small, you feel that the needle will. There's a feeling it's going to kill me. There's a conversation. It's there. It's in subconscious. Now, the ability to hear those conversations that you are having quietly in between your ears, and then we want to cure that fear. We need to understand what is being said. And a guided spiritual person can help you hear what is being said. I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to be like my aunt. As you say those things gradually, it begins to build up a certain behavioral pattern. The ability to hear those things in the subconscious and begin to deal with them is the first step. Hypnosis is now a way to correct it.
mm, okay. All right. I've got another question for you.
Go ahead.
Uh, do you believe in death?
Do I believe in death?
Yes.
Science says all living things will die.
What is your definition of death?
There are two definitions. If you mean spiritual death, that's eternal separation from God, losing your spiritual interaction and ability to be with God here and the afterlife. That's the spiritual. In the physical, death would mean, or that means, non-responsive or organs dead, that kind of clinically dead, what clinicians would say clinically dead. Yeah, but the physical death is a symbolism of the spiritual one. So one can be dead in the spirit and still be alive physically. Being dead spiritually means that you're not in tune with all your signals. You're cut off from life, internal life, not physical life, internal life.
If you're cut off from eternal life, but you're still living, then what are
Yeah,
you?
it's a temporary situation. Because you're still living, you can correct it. This is what Christian theology says. You can correct it by making a change and repenting and giving your life to Jesus Christ in the context of being a Christian, and then with training, because many people now have eternal life inside them, but they don't train it. Like I said, they don't go through the training materials. I'm sorry to say, majority of church materials today is not tuned towards developing your spirit, because the pastor wants to be the only superhero. I'm sorry I said that out. Maybe many pastors are going to fight me. But the truth they know, they don't want to teach people. So many people cannot experience the reality of that new life that they have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's why I'm asking these questions. And I'm also trying to um, figure out the veracity of your belief as a Christian, and at the same time being someone who is knowledgeable on the spiritual world. Because in the
Oh,
past, I I was of the impression that you could not blend the two. And yet here you are proving to me that you could and you can and you
oh,
should blend the two,
oh, yes. You
which
see,
is very important to me because that implies that Christ was also of both. He was attuned to the
yes,
spirit world and also attuned to the
yes,
physical world. So
yes.
I now it's that's a better understanding that there is someone out there who understands the same thing that I understand
Oh,
and believe,
yes,
and this is a
yes,
testament of that.
yes. Let me quickly say this, Michael. Thank you for that. Jesus, at the age of 12, was arguing with PhD holders. At the age of 12, he was having PhD thesis conversations. The Bible calls Jesus Christ the wisdom and the power of God. What has happened over the years is that we've gotten mentally and spiritually lazy. People don't want to research anything. The truth is, the truth is, the two realms are not apart. And the mind of a researcher is also something that we all Christians in quote must have the ability to ask questions and confront uncomfortable truths and sit and learn and ask many questions. The third one is the ability to grow in the power of the Spirit yourself. We must grow in the Spirit. We must grow. I mean, when you are dealing with a proper demonic entity, and you must show love, you must know. And when you are dealing with a proper someone that is truly confused, they love life, they love God, but they don't know how to go. You must know so that you can act and be an agent of light to them. For me, I had the rare blessing to have my dad who loves reading, who at the age of 10, I was a voracious reader already. I read everything, Pacesetter, everything. If I read only about 2 or 3 minutes, because I never loved it. But I remember Jeffrey Archer, Agatha Christie. At 12, 13, I was consuming those things easy. I knew French, for example, had the concatenation in both English, what do you call that thing now? Verb concatenation, el garçon, il garçon, whatever. French had the construct of masculine and feminine, but in English, it was aliens. I knew that as a young teenager. Now, those are concepts that, as I began to grow, became useful for me in understanding the difference between meaning and word. So we need to grow intellectually and we need to grow in the spirit. And there are, I recommend that people should go into smaller groups of Bible study where you really, really dig deep and deal with issues, not the superficial sermon of 40 minutes. You can ask a pastor a question. There's so many things in church that does not leave room for depth of understanding at the level at which you're asking about it. And many people are still very illiterate about the spirit realm and the spiritual realm and the spirit of man. Very illiterate. To shock you. And in the church, the people who understand it also are keeping it because it's a tool of trade. If they show you everything, you will not come to church again.
Well, here's the thing. That is true. You will not because the depth of what's actually going on in the spirit world is quite large,
It is.
and um, and there are also many testimonies. I mean, it's even coming out right now.
Hmm.
Many testimonies as to what's actually going on over there and what people are seeing or what people have confronted. But it's
Mhm.
also a test. It's also interesting to note that the church is very voracious in trying to keep this quiet
Yeah.
and not allow these what do you call it? This knowledge to actually be known by many other people
Mhm.
aside from those who are in the church, and that's very strange. So they also deal, it seems like, with demonic affairs or demons, so to speak. So in other words, the other side, when you talked about being in the spirit realm, and you said, okay, there are good spirits, and then there are bad spirits, and then you've got to know what the difference are, and you need to be together with someone who's been there, who knows and can take you out of the situation, so that you
Absolutely.
do not die and lose your life.
Absolutely, absolutely.
prematurely.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at organizing in the coming days is School of Spiritual Enlightenment. There are many things that we need to train and teach and explain. For example, many people don't know that. For example, I was discussing with a lady. Maybe she's on the call right now. She's on the call right now. That our lives predated our physical existence. Before you were
That is true.
formed, yeah, before you were formed, and somebody was arguing with me that it was not that's not scriptural. I said, no, it is. Before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. For you to be known, you are a distinct entity. While you were in your mother's womb, I set you apart and ordained you. I called you as a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah 1:5. Now that shows that, and there's other evidence. I mean, Rebecca was pregnant. Rebecca was pregnant, and then she went to the prophet before ultrasound came. See, there's a lot of kicking in my stomach. What's happening? The prophet said, well, there are two nations within you. Now he described babies as nations. So both of them will be very great. But the elder shall serve the younger. And the Bible says the day that they were born, Esau came out. As soon as Esau came out, Jacob took him by the leg. Now, there had been a struggle from the womb. And that struggle played through their life. Through their life. John and Jesus were cousins. The mother of Mary, mother of Jesus, went to greet Elizabeth, who was her aunt in the hill country, and the baby John inside leaped for joy when Elizabeth heard the voice of Mary. Now, when he heard the voice of Mary and leaped for joy, that means that in the womb, John recognized Jesus Christ. So when Jesus Christ came to the Jordan, there was no Bible record that they saw each other again. By the age of 17, thereabout, when Jesus went to the Jordan, that means John was probably 21, no, about 18, because they're 6 months apart. By the time at 18, John was already also baptizing people whose job was to come and introduce Christ. He met him in the womb. Take note. The day he saw him, he didn't need introduction. He said, this is the Lamb of God. This is him. So there is recognition. Before they were while in the womb, John recognized Jesus. And when they came to the earth, their work continued. So there are those kind of things and mysteries in our world, but there are many people who are not comfortable to research it and who will tell people it doesn't exist. And now people now go to other enlightened meetings and other persuasions of spirituality, and then they tell them those things exist. And pastors say, no, it doesn't exist. Because the pastor does not know about it. He's not a specialization. He's not studied scripture enough. He even says it's not in the Bible. And I'm always laughing.
Yep, there are too many false prophets.
I agree.
And that's what we're running into back home as a result of, and the only reason we're running into that is because of greed.
It's not greed. We could be here all day. I think it's ignorance, Michael. People need, the coach said, the information is there, the knowledge is there for us to learn. It's whether we do or not. And a lot of people are lazy. They don't want to learn.
A lot of people get short-sighted when they think about money.
I think they're lazy. I think they learn, they hear, and they might see something, but they don't delve into it to learn really what am I really seeing. I see this every day. I see people, they come to our mindsets, our events to learn about mindset, not realizing that until you actually get a mindset coach who's actually going to guide you through the process, your spirituality will never be awakened. Your true powers, it will stay hidden. But the knowledge is there. The books are there. They're all there. Well, now humans can't apply necessarily what we read without help. That's why we have coaches, right? That's why we're able to help you. Go on, please, Margaret.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in to issue the general disclaimer that I generally don't like to call people lazy because I feel like laziness is like an odd catch-all that demonstrates a profound ignorance for the concept that not everybody has the same 24 hours.
Glad that you brought that up and said that.
That I
agree.
Because it's kind of wild to me because so much of the laziness doctrine, if you really go back, was really meant to just encourage as much labor as possible, regardless of how valuable that labor was, just for labor's sake. that's my brief TED talk on that subject.
Well, can you elaborate on it?
That's deep. She's right.
You
Please
said
go on.
that's the word on it. That's her word on it, Mark. She's not going to elaborate. Choice of words now, but I know what I mean, and you know what I mean too, so I'll leave it there.
No, I know. I just wanted to put that disclaimer there because I feel like I don't like to judge unjustly and say that my existence is superior to other people's, you know, because that brings in the classic phrase of pride goeth before the fall, right?
I fully agree with you. And in spirituality, there's no place for pride. One of the signs that you've really encountered spiritual truth is that you are ever so much more humble. The only thing though is that
I like to be very mindful about how I produce effort, you know, because in my mind it's not lazy. It's more like, oh, will this labor actually be helpful? And if the answer is no, then I don't like to do it.
Let me quickly say something.
Like if I try to go in and be like, oh, such and such a thing is happening, but oh, that event isn't actually happening, then I've just generated a bunch of traffic to an event that doesn't exist. Does that effort mean something, right? That's why and you know, a lot of people don't really think about what do they even call it anymore these days, because the terms for things change all the time. Like pink collar jobs, like teachers and stuff, like things that are traditionally believed to be female labor are
blue collar jobs,
chronically undervalued, right? But if we're somehow lazy for not doing a thing, I like, my first question is wondering, like, does that thing actually need to be done? Does that thing actually need to exist?
Well, let me say something though. You know, words are not meanings, like we said earlier. And if anyone uses the word lazy in this context, I not in a derogatory term, as in deference to any, it's just that we need more work because there is a deliberate attempt to keep a lot of us out, and we're concerned at how many people are poor when we should not be poor.
Oh, of course. That I'm happy to do, but I just wanted to put that disclaimer in there.
No. I agree. I agree. But we're going to the point, like Michael also said earlier, when we must begin to deal with these issues. There are things that must be done. Until medical doctors forayed into deep research, many diseases were just the date of people's deaths. We can't continue to, because there's some preying on let me use this on myself. There's some preying by systems of the world on some of my lazy inability to research. And if there's another word, please give it to me. I'll gladly insert it. I do not mean someone is lazy in the derogatory.
No, you're good. I just wanted to put that out there because I know, like, that's probably not the spirit in which the word lazy is meant, but I feel like there's so many ways that people have abused words throughout the years that I wanted to do that little service. You're welcome, everybody.
Well, I've got a question for you, Coach.
Okay.
And that is with regards to, and we're going to go a little bit deeper.
I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and then I'm going to end the show.
Okay.
I think so. We're 2 hours for 15 minutes.
The words that we keep on throwing around, pride. Pride is a spirit.
So
I think it is actually something that is really real.
I can't hear you very well.
Pride. I'm saying that pride is a spirit. I believe that it is an element that is actually, my spiritual sense makes it physical. It is not something that is out of this world. It is something that actually exists, that can actually manipulate us, that is an entity.
Okay, so two
Which
things. So,
uh-huh.
two things. You see, just the way the mind and body are one. Do you know how the mind and body are one? The mind and body, they are one.
Right.
Whatever, there's something called the muscle tone test. Whatever the mind feels, the muscles will act out. Whatever the mind feels or thinks or believes, the muscles will act out. If you
Yes.
feel,
Yes. Yes.
yes,
If I want to run, I'll run. If I want
thank you.
to stop, I'll stop. If
Yes,
I
and
want
if
to
you,
run and I cannot run, it means there's a disconnection.
thank you. And if you try to run when you don't feel like running, your body will be very awkward in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
After a while, your body can now trigger your mind, and then you now start running well.
Right.
So it's vice versa. That same relationship exists between the spirit and the mind. That same kind of relationship exists. So if an entity is a spiritual entity, it has its corollary and its resultant behavior in the realm of the mind, the realm of
Mm,
imagination, the realm of will, intellect, decision making. That's the realm of the mind. In that realm, pride exists.
mm,
Therefore, it exists also both in the spirit and also in the body. If your mind is feeling proud or exalted, in quotes, you're going to act proudly or speak proudly. And if the spirit entity of pride has come upon you, it's going to go to another level
mm.
where the eventual end will be destruction, because you're not going to listen to anybody. Wisdom that
Oh
Margaret
yeah.
is saying, yeah. So he exists across the realms, and is a spirit entity, is a quality of the mind, and it also can be acted out in our utterances and our body language and everything. Although the other consonant part, which I wanted to add, is that there's also the part of maturity in discernment. I mean, thank God Margaret had done that. She mentioned, oh, we are not in that context. There are people who will interpret pride. So Michael is always highly opinionated, and Michael just cares about people. I'm sorry, I'm using Michael. It can be any, it can be me, it can be
No, no,
Margaret.
that's fine. You
And
can
this,
use me.
uh,
Even if I get a lot of flack, I can take it. I
uh,
really can. I can take it.
no, man, I'm just joking. And so the thinking is, why is he always speaking so self-confidently? That means he's proud. My question to such a person is, did you see his mind? Are you now the proudometer, or the proud, or
I
are you now
like
the
that
proud,
word. Yes, the proudometer.
are you the proudometer of the universe? Do you now have you become God? You can see everybody's mind. No, the guy is just being himself. You might misinterpret him. That's the slight difference. What people call pride at times, or what people call arrogance, may not be those things. So we must be slow to label stuff until we learn, until we are spiritual enough, and spiritual, not even churchy. I mean, we are matured enough to empathize and know that someone can have a body language, the person can have a certain meaning on the outside. It may not be the way they are feeling on the inside, and that's going to help us in emotional intelligence more and to be able to relate more with people. Let's give each other the
Ah,
benefit of doubt that the person may not be proud, the person may just begin to a rough patch, or the person has a body language that you don't understand. I can give you a long list of what people call pride. That is not pride.
yeah, but I can understand what you're saying, and I am glad that you actually inserted emotional intelligence in there, because as far as I can tell, with respect to what I'm trying to attempt to do, even if you think that I am proud, it's not necessarily true. No, it is because I am confident in what I am saying, and that is why I project pride, because I am confident in what I am saying. So it translates that way. And I believe when you have when you're practicing emotional intelligence, that is the direction you need to go in order to let me just say this, in order to win an argument or swing other people towards your line of thinking, or at the same time to indicate, to really indicate that your line of thinking is correct. And
Mhm.
at times you're actually putting it out there so that you can have a challenge. Someone can
Mhm.
challenge you and say, no, your line of thinking is not correct. And
Yeah,
they in
I
turn
have
needs to come back at you with pride.
my time has run out.
Just like Annie does every time.
You're
Every
gonna
time
have
I
to
say
meet.
something, he
You're gonna
interrupts
Thank you
me with
guys
a
for
lot of.
having me. I have to dip out.
Thank you, Margaret. Thanks,
Thank you,
Margaret.
Margaret. Thank you so much.
Everyone that's joined
I'm
us, thank you.
Oh, Lord,
y'all
you guys.
You,
have to,
Annie.
I guess,
I respond
email
to
me
everyone
questions
in
in
time,
DMs
right?
or whatever.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Margaret.
Margaret,
Connect
thank you, and
to have
thank
the
you.
conversations. Connect and have the conversations with friends. Don't buy the book until launch day. I'll say that again.
All right.
Yeah.
Just let me know because I really want to read that book. Thanks.
Yeah, excellent. We're back here again next week, by the way. Same time, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we're back
Oh,
here.
very good.
9 p.m. in the UK.
9 p.m. exactly. Oh, honestly, so we're going towards 3 hours. Nah, that's
Yeah.
too
Well,
much.
Do what I can, I guess.
certainly remind me because I know I'll forget.
Yeah, I will send you an invite, Michael. So it's not that I don't invite you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Coach. Interesting conversation. I say that there'll be more in the weeks ahead, my friends. But do connect and do talk to Coach. Get to meet him, get to have conversations with him.
Yes,
I
thank you so
thank
much.
you all for giving us your time. Dr. Marcia, I saw you towards the end. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much, everyone. Look, I'm tired of standing up for the last 3 hours. So
No, sorry about that.
add the positivity event I had earlier as well. Then you realize I've been here for a long, long time.
Long time. Whoa.
I need to rest my
Well
legs
done.
and go and pay
Thank
my
you.
bills. I get fine.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your night.
Yeah, thank you.
Michael, you're welcome to stay with Coach in the studio after the event. Carry on talking about it. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
man.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. Achieve success with Global.Media.